So the spring 2018 season is all but over, and wow did we get a ton of good shows. And as a consequence of this, there's been a lot I've wanted to talk about. The only problem is I am but one person, and at the rate I put out content, we'd be well into summer before I'll have said all I wanted to say if each of these ended up being their own video. So what I'm gonna do is a sort of hodgepodge analysis where I talk about several series in one video. I'll have timecodes in the description if you're not interested in every series, but without further ado, these are some small bits of analysis from several shows I've enjoyed this past season. Yes, obviously, Hinamatsuri is hilarious. The comedic timing is on point, and the chemistry between the entire cast is phenomenal. But one thing I haven't really seen discussed that I want to touch on is how the series presents multiple ideas of what it means to be a good person. On the one hand, you have this concept of being purely good, as portrayed through Anzu, who in the latter half of the series doesn't really seem like she has a bad bone in her body to speak of. It's quite the interesting difference given her attitude when we first meet her, but really I think this contrast sells the idea that her kind of goodness is that which is mostly found in children. I'm not talking about the age when they're brats or not old enough to walk, but once they've reached some semblance of maturity and are just nice for the sake of being nice, at least if they've been raised right. I was one of those kids. Hell, when we did a skit when I was in, I think, the 3rd grade, I had to be the bully. I could not do it. I couldn't even pretend to be mean. That's the kind of good Anzu represents. Goodness for the sake of it. Her emotions and such being as malleable as a young child's, hence why she goes from being pure brat to incredibly genuine and selfless almost seamlessly. On the other side, we have the kind of goodness Hitomi represents. Hers is, I think, a more realistic take on what it means to be a good person, because we frequently get to hear her inner monologues, and we know she doesn't always want to do things, but she does them anyway. Be it playing with Anzu in the forest even though she's dead tired, or reaching out to a coworker despite her actively talking behind her back. Without this glimpse into her mind, she'd come off as genuine as Anzu. And so is there really a difference? Because I think Hitomi's mindset is a lot more representative of what I'd call mature kindness. The kind that only manifests once life has gotten a few good hits in. Being able to recognize that you may not want to do something, but putting on a smile and still doing your best regardless. I mean, Hitomi literally goes through an entire episode where life just beats her down, but she persists anyway. You could just dismiss this as a symptom of her being spineless and unable to say no, but she still puts in an incredible amount of effort to be good to others when she doesn't really need to. It may not seem as pure as Anzu's goodness, but I think it's a lot more relatable for adults. Life can be hard sometimes, and being nice can take real effort. Doesn't mean it's any less good in my opinion. Taking a break from the philosophy, I want to discuss something about SAO alternative that is as old as meme immemorial. Leet hacks. Because after the second squad jam kicked off, I found myself having more fun watching this series than pretty much any other this season. Sure, the forced drama is a little meh, but even the series doesn't dwell on it too much. I mean, literally 2 episodes after that plot point gets introduced, we have this happen. And it's not like we're constantly reminded of the stakes during the squad jam. So the result has been me having a blast as Len, Fuka, and really every other team exploit the rules of the game to their advantage. Be that using bullet lines to stealthily convey your location, portable pink smoke, or having one of your teammates intentionally die in a strategic position so their corpse can be used as an indestructible mount for a motherfucking anti-tank rifle. It just feels like the people putting this together have actually played a video game or two and understand that there are those of us who will try and use any exploit we can to get the upper hand. And with it being a full dive VR game, there's plenty of room for creativity. And the result is just a lot of good fun, with the occasional necessary story beat to keep the plot moving. I think whereas original SAO tried to have more drama with a little bit of levity here and there, SAO Alternative does just the opposite. It fully takes advantage of the fact that the plot is playing out in a video game by just having fun with that idea. And I don't know about you, but that's something I can and will continue to appreciate about this series. Alright, I saved this for last for several reasons. One, it wasn't really as popular as the previous two, so I decided to front load the video. And two, because I possibly have a slightly controversial opinion that I'm gonna let fly. Okay, here it goes. I think Musume is a better sports anime than Megalobox. Feel free to send the corresponding hate to my Twitter. I promise to respond with pictures and gifs of Special Week. Anyway, I should also point out that at the time of writing this, Musume is complete, whereas Megalobox still has one episode to go, so it's also entirely possible that opinion will change. And I'll continue to clarify because I'm not saying Musume is a better series flat out, I just think it's more competent as a sports story. Special Week actually goes through a lot of character development, and her story is a damn compelling one. She doesn't win all the time, she has to train and redefine what racing means to her in the process. The same goes for Suzuka. Her journey is just as great, and I'll be honest, there were a few times where this series actually had me close to tears, primarily during her races. Megalobox is some adrenaline-pumping fun, there's no doubt about that, but my ultimate opinion of the show is riding on this final fight. There have been some standout moments, but spoiler alert, this is your time to leave now. There really are only so many times I can accept Joe being able to KO his opponents the first time he knocks them down, meanwhile his endurance is that of a super antelope. I was also very pleasantly surprised by Musume as I've said previously, so it was on a steady increase week after week, while on the other hand, Megalobox was just kind of holding steady. I don't know, I'm just telling you where my investment has been higher this season. These are all though just my thoughts, and you're free to disagree with any of them. What do you think of one or all of these shows? And what do you think about this format? If you like it and it does well, there's a good chance you'll see it in the future. But whatever your thoughts are, you can let me know down below. As always, thank you for watching, and an especially big thanks goes out to my awesome patrons, PenguinPandaZero, OverjoyedSoup, MVPino, James Morton, Mr. Idealist, Marbled Ranger, and everyone else for generously supporting me. If you would like to join those awesome people and help make more videos like this possible, you can click on the right to visit my Patreon page, click the left to subscribe, t-shirts are now on sale, link to that down below, and I don't have a clever quip for the bell icon. Sue me. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, stay awesome, and I'll see you next time.